I'm gonna go get some chicken. Chicken? I can eat some chicken.
All right, so as you can see, we're going to be making a chicken dish tonight. For the ingredients, we need chicken, beer, brown sugar, potatoes, salt, paprika, pepper, and cayenne pepper, and of course olive oil, and our black and tan beer. So we'll show you how to put it all together into a great chicken dinner. All right, and welcome to another episode of Cooking with Michael. You saw this one is going to be a little bit of a memory show. You saw when we went to Nashville, I showed you a few clips of that, and we had our beer can chicken, which was just a fantastic dish. We decided to finally make it for you guys and show you how it's done. So we're real excited about it. Hope you enjoyed walking down memory lane. And of course, if you want to see the full version, go back and watch Nashville Date Night video. It's a great episode. It was a lot of fun to make. So tonight, again, beer can chicken. Easy, not very difficult. It does take some time though. The chicken cooking in the oven is going to take a little over an hour to cook. But before we do that, a couple of shout outs. As always, we got some new subscribers this week. Fantastic. Thank you so much for those of you who've joined us and subscribed. And also those of you who have been watching the videos. We did have a great turnout again, as always. So thank you so much for all of that. I want to thank everyone who's continued to comment and like as well. So we're continuing to have a great social media presence, and it can only get better. Of course, the more we do and the more likes and subscribes and video feeds and all that stuff that show up. Anyway, and of course, one last shout out, Andrew, my wine guy. Tonight's dinner, beer can chicken, doesn't seem to go real well with wine. So, of course, we're going to do beer. Now, if you've watched before, yes, I said we're doing beer, no Pinot Grigio. Okay. It is a beer night because, of course, it's beer can chicken. And I'm going to use a different kind of beer. So if you've seen my episodes before, you always see a little a lager type beer. This one we're going to use. And I don't typically show you the kind of beer, but I am going to show you this time because it's a kind of a neat a beer that's perfect for what we're doing. We're using a Yuengling Black and Tan. So if those of you who are watching from Western PA, of course Yuengling's real big there, but it's starting to go nationwide too. So Yuengling Black and Tan, and the reason is it's a nice cross between a porter and a non-porter beer, which adds a nice flavor to the beer. So, however, I did get one for me, well, several for me, because if you've watched my videos, you know it's about, unfortunately, the drinking sometimes. A lot of the times. Okay, all the time. Fine. All right, but anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up my Black and Tan. Anyway, we did get that at Andrew's. He always takes care of us with all our wine and beer needs. So, again, thank you, Andrew. So anyway, we're just going to dive right into this. Sit back, relax, enjoy, and we'll be right back. All right, and we're back. We're going to start with the chicken. Best thing to do is, as always, I went to my butcher and I got fresh chicken. I got fresh chicken thighs and chicken winglets. I also went and made sure that they had the skins still on them. A lot of times you're using recipes, you're thinking it's healthier with the skin off it, and it is. I'm not going to deny that, it is. And while I'm doing that, speaking of healthy, I've got to have a drink of beer. Okay. Yeah, it is definitely healthier. However, for what we're doing, you want to have the skin on it. But first things first, you want to get the chicken fresh, but you want to bring it home the night before you're going to cook the chicken. And you want to get a big bowl, kind of like this, okay? Get a big bowl like this, and then you want to take the chicken, and I'm going to just turn this down a little bit, and you can see put the chicken in there. And what I did, I opened one bottle and fully filled the it up with it. Okay, just enough to cover it all, and then I let it sit and marinate overnight. Okay, put it back in the fridge. Obviously, don't let it sit on the counter because for so many reasons that's not going to work. So anyway, let it sit overnight. I put plastic wrap over top of it, stuck in the fridge. And then when it's all nice and marinated, okay, real simple, we're going to take it out. We're going to put it in a Corningware dish, and then we're going to season the top of it before we put it in the oven. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my Corningware dish, just a single straight Corningware dish that we use all the time, okay? And I'm going to, let's get that ready. I'm going to bring the chicken over, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take, and again, it has been sitting in the beer all night long, which is funny because when I took it out of the fridge today, it definitely had sucked up some of the beer. So apparently my chicken is fraternity chicken, and they just drank all the beer. So you can use a lot of different kind of beers, by the way. Some people will say an IPA would be better for this. Some say a lager. I've tried a couple different ways. We tested a couple different beers. Okay, let's be honest. It was actually a reason to drink different kinds of beer. But we did try different kinds of beer. All right, so, and we did think that this one was actually the best for the flavor. It's a full body beer, that kind of thing. So we're going to take, you can see there's a little bit of beer left in there. And we're going to take, and we're just going to put not all of it, just a little bit in there, okay? Primarily because when it starts to cook, you want that little bit of steam, that beer steam, okay? And then I'm going to take this, put it over there. So that's what it looks like, okay, when it's all ready to season. Now, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to then take my seasoning. So, but first things first, I'm going to take my olive oil, which... Where did we get it from? Where did we get it from? Raise your hand if you know where we got it from. How many of you are raising your hand? How many of you are screaming Aldi? How many of you are screaming just make the damn chicken? All right, fair enough. We got this at Aldi, of course. Anyway, so I'm going to take this. Typically, if you've seen me make, when you saw the duck episode, which again, if you watched that one, thank you so much. I used butter in order to make the skin crispy. A little bit different. I'm going to use the olive oil. I'm just going to put a little bit of olive oil in my hands, and I'm going to rub the chicken. This is a little bit different than choking your chicken. Melissa, that was straight up for you, because when I say things like that, my wife and executive producer, director, and everything else just palms herself and says, what the hell is wrong with him? And yes, I agreed to marry him. So anyway, so just oil up your chicken. And, all right, so we've oiled up the chicken. And make sure also, if you haven't done it, we do need to preheat the oven to 375. You may not have done it because I really never actually said to do that yet. Maybe I have had a little bit too much black and tan. But anyway, so you want to preheat your oven to 375. And as always in my house, as you saw last week for the meatloaf video, and again, thank you for watching. Check to make sure nothing's in there, and I did that and there's nothing in there. So anyway, you want to take some brown sugar for the seasoning, okay? Then you take some cayenne pepper. And again, we don't do a whole lot of measuring here, so we just put some in there, okay, to kind of cover up the top of the brown sugar. A little bit of paprika. Just a little bit of paprika. Okay. And we're going to take salt and pepper. Okay. And we're going to, this is what we're going to put on top of the chicken. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm pretty much just going to mix this all up. Okay. And again, there's not a lot in there. And then I'm going to take some and I'm going to rub it into the chicken. And again, the jokes continue to come. So I went from greasing my chicken to rubbing my chicken. You want to coat just the top of it with the brown sugar seasoning mix. Brown sugar, again, paprika, salt, pepper, cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper gives it a little bit of kick. The brown sugar makes it a little bit sweet, especially when you have the beer with it. And, of course, the salt and pepper do add just their own kind of seasonings as well, so, or flavors as well, as does the paprika. So once you put this all coat it on top. Because what's going to happen is this flavor is going to go in there. Okay? And between that and the beer that has soaked overnight, now you're going to have the flavor. So that's what the beer can chicken looks like when it's, getting ready to go in the oven. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it in the oven. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in the oven. That last part's going into bloopers. All right, so I put it in the oven. 375. I'm going to set my timer for an hour, and then we'll come back. We'll take a look at it. During that time, I'm going to make our side dish, which is mashed potatoes, which if you've watched our episodes before, thank you. I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. Sit right there. We'll be right back. Okay, so while we're doing that, we're going to make mashed potatoes. Again, if you watch my show, thank you so much. You know I love to make homemade mashed potatoes. It's quick. It's easy. It tastes so much better than the box powder ones, and you have so much flexibility of what you can do. So anyway, I took potatoes. I took the red potatoes that you saw on the ingredients ahead of time. I took 6 of those, cut them up. I'm going to put them in boiling water. Let them boil for about 30-35 minutes. And then I'm going to take it and I'll put it in my mixer and just mix them up. I'm not really going to spend a lot of time on showing you how to do it because if you watched my episodes before, again, we've shown it before. If you haven't watched my episodes, this will certainly make you go back and watch so you can find the mashed potatoes. No, I'm just kidding. During this time, drink some beer. If you were ready for the show tonight and you have Pinot Grigio, what the hell, drink that too. I'm going to go back to my black and tan, and then we'll be back and we'll go for the next step. Thanks so much. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. We've got about 25 minutes left to go on the chicken. The potatoes are done boiling, so I'm going to go ahead and drain them. All right, so there are the potatoes. You can see they are done boiling. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take this. I'm just going to pour it. You can see I put a stick of butter in there because if you've watched before, you can never have too much butter. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour the potatoes right in on top of the butter there, okay? Then I'm going to take a little bit of milk. And I'm just going to pour a little bit of milk in. Again, as you know, I don't measure, but just a little bit of milk to make them creamy. And then I'm going to go ahead, put them in the mixer, and mix them all up, okay? And if they're still a little chunky, you could add more milk to them. If they're too creamy, well, then you went too far. So, which is why I don't put the milk in until I put a little bit of milk in and then add to it. That way I make sure. So let's go ahead and put it in the mixer, and we'll see what it looks like when they're all mixed up and see if we hit the nail on the head. All right, so what we got here is just put the mixer on a slow mixing speed and mix them all up until everything is nice and creamy smooth for a great mashed potato. Again, if you need to add a little bit of milk, you can do it right here while it's mixing. I did taste them. They're perfect, so they taste perfect. You can add garlic if you'd like to it. I do not add salt. If you've watched my episodes before, I do not add salt to the mashed potatoes. I let the person who is putting them on their plate add salt because, again, know your audience. I let the person salt once they're on the plate. So it's sitting over there in the mixer, covered up to keep them warm. And when the chicken's done, we'll take it out. We'll test it, make sure it's done, and then we'll put a piece on the plate. And as always, with mashed potatoes and a little bit of black and tan, and we'll test it all and make sure it's fantastic. So we'll be right back with the chicken. Sit right there. All right. The timer is just about to go off for the hour. We'll pull it out. We'll cut the thighs. The wings will cook obviously a lot quicker because they're smaller. We're going to take a look at the thighs, make sure that they are actually cooked through. Again, chicken cooked through when there's no pink juices. The juices run clear. There's no pink meat throughout. So we take a look at it, and the timer is just about to go off now. And there it is. So I'm going to pull it out. All right. That's what it looks like when it's cooked. Now, we just want to make sure that it is, in fact, cooked all the way through. So we're just going to take this, and we're going to go to basically the thickest part of the thigh. You can see, I don't know if you can see or not, but it does actually still have some red juice, or some pink juice, I shouldn't say red, in some of it. So I'm actually going to put it back in the oven for about 10 minutes. We'll do 10 minutes at a time. 10-minute increments, and then we'll take a look at it and see what it's like. All right, let's try this again. Just another second or two before it goes off, and there it is. So let's pull this out, and let's see what it looks like. Let's take a look. So we're just going to cut. Again, we're going to cut. So when we looked before, it looked good. So we're going to cut another section of the meat. Yep, it is actually good. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take out, turn the oven off. I'm going to take a piece of this out. Okay. And of course, take one of the winglets out. So that's what it looks like with mashed potatoes and the chicken. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut a little piece of the chicken off so we can taste it, of course. You can see it kind of just pulls right off the bone, which is nice. So let me just take a little piece of that. And, all right, hi there. All right, got a little bit of my black and tan. The cold black and tan, not the one that's cooked on here. And let's try this. So we got it here. Fantastic. Potatoes. It's really hard to screw the potatoes, but chicken is just amazing. So, very good. Real review. Chicken, overnight, marinate in your favorite beer of choice. I do like the black and tan because it's a nice mix of a premium beer and a porter beer. You can use an IPA, you can use a lager, you can use whatever kind of beer you think is going to be good for you because, again, the alcohol is going to be gone when it cooks out. It's really about the taste. So I think the porter beer does a great job. Cook it for about, in this case, was about an hour and 10 minutes on 375. Make sure you season it, and it'll be a great, great dinner. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you loved it. I hope you try the chicken. I think you'll really, really like it. It's just a great, great meal, and we learned all about this in Nashville. So, of course, if you want to go back and watch the Nashville video, I would love that. But otherwise, again, I want to just thank everyone who's been watching, those of you who have subscribed. Of course, as always, if you know anybody who would enjoy it, please share the video with those folks and have them subscribe. And the more subscribes, the more likes, the more views, the more comments, of course, means we're going to show up on other people's feeds and more people will watch what we're doing. And as I said, we love to do this. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, we'll see you next week on our next episode of Cooking with Michael. Saturday nights, 8 p.m. Every Saturday night, 8 p.m. Cooking with Michael. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed it and have yourself a great, great dinner and a great date night. Thanks, everyone.